Welcome. Here we are. I am finally debuting in Masters or Tier 1 Alliance War. So, first fight, I already forgot the note, but hey, I'm assigned Negasonic versus Chee'ilth. So this time, hey, I had to make sure my notifications that tend to come on in all my videos don't come on this time. So the plan here, we can't use a special or a shield, cleanse the debuffs that happen, and then our damage is being reflected back to us. So plan is just punish her SP1 and just go at it. Parry heavy so we can get our vulnerability up, deal more incinerate damage, and just use our medium and light attacks. So the fight here is pretty straightforward, nothing too crazy going on, since all of Negasonic abilities are passive. And plus she can also do a 7-hit on her stun, though I'm not sure why I did not end it in the combo with the 7th hit. But hey, slow and steady, where as you can see she's chipping away. In our very first Tier 1 fight, barely a minute and we survived. Alright, so the moment we have 4 path fights and a stun immune hazard shift Armin Zola mini boss to top it off. Alright, so like I said, it's my first time essentially doing Master Tier War, and hey, my nerves are going on. I'm like, I can just make it through my first war. That'll definitely calm me down. So the plan with the Womg here is just to really keep his aggression fury in check, because if those furies get out of hand, you can lose like half your health in just a parry. But luckily we have She-Hulk with the trauma to make him more aggressive and more likely to throw a special. So our plan here is just bait out his specials and attack. And at that moment, I actually forgot the grit passive. I need the full Deathless synergy, not just Thanos for. And at this point, I am just going downhill. I had to take a deep breath for a moment. I just threw my relic just to give me a moment to breathe. And I'm like, okay, the fight is still, we can still salvage the fight. We got his aggression fury in check, so if he throws the SP2, blocking it will be okay. When he does throw a special, we do get tranquilized, so your parries can fail, which is something you need to keep an eye out for. Which there, I was actually expecting my parry to fail, which is why I had the delay in throwing it. But luckily we didn't get punished, so hey, we're still alive. So we're heavying just to get his Elder Rich down, so we didn't take the burst damage and die if we hit him. But right now things are going pretty well for us, so at this point, my heart rate's down, blood pressure's down, we're relaxed, and we got the fight in the bag. See? Textbook. There you go. Did we die? Absolutely not. So now we're moving on to Path 5. We have this Destroyer mini over here. And I know I could use my relic to intercept, but I just see it as I'm not really bothering to intercept here, since especially I don't get the grit passive. Plan here is just push him to SP2 until I can throw my SP2. Because once you get the timing on the SP2 down, it's fairly easy to dodge and there's less hassle compared to the SP1. But now that we got our Wither from the SP2 down, we're okay with him throwing the SP1. Because once he hits his power gain, he's just going to power drain himself. And at this point, with the traumas racking up, we don't have to worry about the intercepting, using the relic to intercept, because our damage is going to increase even more. So at this point, I'm pretty comfortable. Just letting him throw the SP1, throwing my SP2. Traumas are making him very aggressive and generous with the special, which is what we all hope for, when it comes to the Marvel Contest AI. There he goes with his power gain, but luckily I have the Wither active, so there's no power gain for him. Drain, absolutely. In the red numbers, you just gotta love to see it. We're doing 29k in burst damage, and that's with a damage is like reduced by 40-60% right now, which shows you how insane that hit would have been. And we bait out one last SP1. We get ready for the SP2, and the fight is over. You gotta give me a little bit under the weather, but here we are, you know. Moving on to fight number 5. We're still in Path 5, Section 2. We have this Killmonger here. And luckily with Negasonic, everything she does is passive, so we don't have to worry about giving him a burst of power, and since all of her hits are non-contact, we don't take any of the reverb damage. So I backed off after going for the intercept, and he just like stood there, and I'm like, you're not gonna catch me trying to go against you again. And here I'm just like, if we land an intercept, cool, but if not, we're not gonna stress it. Plan here is get to our SP2. We did manage the light intercept, so we're gonna throw the SP2. Since we have the Fury, our incinerates are increased, and after that, plan is just spam SP1 so we can refresh and also increase our incinerates. And since they're passive, we don't have to worry about them being shrugged off by the node, nor when Killmonger dashes in, because this node also has Mighty Charge, so there's nothing for him to purify since we have no debuffs. The incinerates are ticking away. As you can see, I see 1700 numbers like constantly ticking. So trust me, we're loving it. And like I said, if we have an opening for an intercept, cool, we'll go for it. Otherwise, we're really not too worried or focused on it. Guys going down, fights melting. And Negasonic is doing her thing right now. And Killmonger is down. So far we're 4 for 4. We're going into our first war, going deathless. And now we have our final fight incoming. Here we have this Armin Zola, who's on the Poison and Rupture hazard shift node, as well as stun immune. Funny part about this was I was just telling a friend of mine in the line chat that, hey, you know, Zola's not that bad as long as you're not fighting. He gets annoying when you're fighting him on stun immune. Lo and behold, I get assigned a stun immune. But luckily, my officer had like some videos to show me as to how the fight was handled. So I did a couple of practice duels. The big thing is baiting out Zola's heavies, and then you counter the heavy with your heavy. I've been hit by the SP1 enough times in Battlegrounds to have like a 50-50 shot of Dex in it. I did apply an invulnerability boost because when I was practicing my duels, the heavy range itself was kind of weird. If he dashed into and hit my block, then all I had to do was dash back once, and I'm okay. But if, say, he started off his combo with a light attack, and then attempted to launch in heavy, the dash back does not put me in a safe position, then we get hit. But, so the plan here is just to constantly bait his SP1, and bait out a heavy. And whenever he throws his heavy, we'll counter with our heavy. This will keep his charges in check. And the big thing is we just don't want to lose our trauma. Well, fortunately with Zola, as fights goes on, we're just dealing not the max damage we could, but thanks to the trauma, we can at least ramp up a bit, you know? And She-Hulk is immune to the poison. The Deathless Thanos energy gives her immunity to rupture, which also helps so she doesn't have to dance around during the phase, which can be very annoying against Zola. And that SP1 is like where majority of my damage is coming from. Here, I'm not sure what happened, but you know, we've moved forward. And unfortunately, that mishap caused me to lose all of my trauma, which greatly reduced this fight duration. And okay, that notification's coming through post-war. That's actually something for work, so yeah, we'll definitely have that blocked out. But here, like I said, I'm not worried about getting the fight down, despite how long I've been in this fight. At this point, I'm getting a bit comfortable. My rhythm's okay. And at some point, this guy can stop. See, I'm out here trying to talk about Marvel Contest of Champions, and they actually want me to work right now. Pretty insane. But moving on. So we're having a couple of good SP1 dexes. We managed to counter his heavy, drop his charges down. And we saved our striker just for moments like that. You know, where we're attempting to chain our heavies, but we're somewhat out of distance or range. And there, where I was like, you know, if he starts to combo with a light into my block, don't bother trying to heavy counter it. Because for whatever reason, it's like the reach is different. One dash back is not enough. So that time I made sure that he dashed into my block. And fight is coming along. We're still in our rhythm. So like I said, the fight is just taking longer. We did lose all of our trauma, which kind of doubled, I'd say, our fight duration. So, but lo and behold, we did manage to get this guy down, which that was a big confidence booster. I was pretty excited. The fight did take us about 4 minutes, so we'll just pause that for now. But I definitely can see that fight being cut down to, 2.5, 3 minutes. Assuming we can keep the trauma going. So next time I see that fight, I will feel more confident going in there. So I appreciate you guys for tuning in. As far as the results, the war is still ongoing, so tune in for War 2, and we'll kick that off with the results from War 1. Till next time, see ya, 'cause I gotta get back to work.
That's all, folks.